What's up everybody? I hope everyone is doing absolutely fantastic. I'm Anthony. On today's video, I'm going to go over with you how to build your very own long-term food storage or emergency food storage out of a 5-gallon bucket. So stay tuned. That's right, today I'm going to be doing a 5-gallon bucket food storage video, something that's extremely basic but very, very necessary, okay? It's amazing how many people do not have this stuff and how much, if you actually did have this stuff, how much it would actually help you in the long run. Now, this video is going to be geared more towards the newer person in this lifestyle, but you can still glean some good information if you are experienced, and if you are super experienced, even more experienced than I am, please down below in the comments tell me what you would do differently or what you have done differently. That way people watching this video can watch what I have to say, read your comments, and come up with their own construction on how they want to do this stuff themselves. Now, to avoid coming across as like one of those recipe pages that you find online where it gives you like 16 pages of backstory before actually getting to the point, I'm going to go ahead and do this video kind of backwards. So we're going to cover three main topics. Number one, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to buy and how you need to prepare it for storage. Number two, we are going to go ahead and assemble it. And number three, we're going to go over the why. Why do I choose to use the materials I do? How long is this going to last me? What is the next step? Things like that I'm going to cover after I go ahead and put everything together and show you how I do it. All right, so number one, come with me to the store, the grocery store and Walmart, so I can show you exactly what I bought, how much it costs. That way you have an idea of how much you are going to spend. Spoiler alert, this is all going to be under $50. Now, in order to make a food bucket, you are going to need to get a food grade 5-gallon bucket. I got these from Walmart. Make sure they're food grade by looking at the bottom. It's going to have a triangle with a 2 in it that says HDPE, meaning high density polyethylene. That is food safe. These buckets cost about $3.84 at my local Walmart. You can probably find them at yours as well. Then you're going to get a Gamma lid. This one's from Tractor Supply, costs $12.99. Gamma lids are essential because they are airtight and they keep out pests. That's why you want to get a Gamma lid. Then you're going to pick up your favorite kind of rice. This is 20 pounds of my favorite kind, and 4 pounds of beans. You can get more than 4 pounds, but this is what I prefer, 4 pounds of beans, and some gravy packets because you're going to want to add some flavor as well. Okay, in order to prepare these for storage, long-term storage, you're going to have to kill the weevil eggs. Weevil eggs are present in any kind of grain, so you're going to want to make sure you freeze them for at least 4 days. After 4 days, your weevil eggs should be dead, so you can go ahead and bring these back up to temperature. However, when you bring anything back from a frozen area to a warm area, you're going to get things like condensation that are going to form on the outside of the bag. So you want to bring your stuff back up to temperature as quick as possible. The way I do this is I stick them in a hot vehicle, and it should be ready back up to temperature in about 12 hours. Okay, so step two, we are going to go ahead and assemble it. It's going to be very difficult, so please watch carefully because this is going to be something that not a lot of people can do because it requires so much skill, it's kind of ridiculous. Now we are going to go and assemble everything. First things first, you got to put your Gamma lid actually on the 5-gallon bucket. So you want to take the lid apart and put the ring on the bucket first. It's going to snap down very loudly and you're going to hear an audible click whenever you are complete. If you can't do it with your hands, use a mallet. But press down until you hear it click on, and then you're going to test fit the lid to make sure it screws on. Once you have that, you can go ahead and put everything in your bucket. I start off with the rice, then I put my packets down in the side, and then I put my beans on over the top. Super easy, not very difficult to do. Then you are going to screw that lid on and label it for the date that you did it. This is very crucial. If you do not label it, you will forget. Trust me, everybody does. So label when you actually did it for rotation purposes, and make sure you identify what you actually put in there so you can remember. RBG for rice, beans, and gravy. Are you still with me? I know that was pretty difficult. It takes a lot of effort to be able to do stuff like that, right? Now on to the why. Why are we doing this? Why are we storing food like this? Well, it's very simple. This is non-perishable food, meaning you don't have to worry about it going bad via lack of refrigeration or natural spoilage because it has things in it like cheese or milk or fats or something like that. These, since they are dry, are going to store for a very long time, upwards of 10 years. So that's why I make it an emphasis to talk about things like this. The reason why we're doing this and the reason why this exists is because food security matters, all right? You want to make sure that your family, especially if you have a family, always has some form of food. If you live in the South like me and you see people having to deal with hurricanes all the time, or the potential of hurricanes all the time, when that storm gets about 1 or 2 days away, you see a whole bunch of people freak out because they realize they don't have any food at home, all right? We live in a society now where a lot of people like to be able to eat fast food or go out to eat all the time. They don't know how to cook and they don't have food at home. So if they are stuck at home for whatever reason, they don't have anything to eat. And if you live in an area that may have the power go out completely, your roads get blocked, whatever, and you have no food at home, congratulations, you are now dependent on somebody else. So in order to avoid all of that, to make sure that you are having some form of food security, that's why we make buckets like this. Now the main one, why did I choose rice and beans? Isn't it so cliche? Well, it's cliche for a reason, because rice and beans, when paired together, give you a full, complete amino acid profile, meaning the rice is deficient in things like lysine. Well, the beans make up for that, and they give you that lysine. So when you combine the two together, congratulations, you have all the essential amino acids you need to create a full protein profile without having to worry about running deficiently over time. Now, why did I choose the rice that I chose? Well, simple. I personally like that kind, and so does my kid and my wife. So if I can, buy something and stash something away that my family actually enjoys eating, then that makes things a lot easier for me. The last thing you want to do is to buy something that they don't actually like, or you don't actually like, and you never end up eating it, and you just end up wasting your money. So if you buy something that you regularly eat all the time, then it makes things so much easier in terms of rotation. But that's why I chose to buy the kind that I did. I don't suggest using brown rice, because I've actually stashed away brown rice, and it starts to go, I wouldn't use the term rancid, but it starts to get a little funky after about 5 to 6 years, because the brown rice has the bran on it and it's got the oils in it, and the oils are what's going to actually make it go bad, and the bran. So when you're eating white rice, it's usually that rice that is, shelled, and you have less chance of it spoiling. So if you use, like I said, any kind of white rice, you don't really have that option of rancidity via the oils, because that shell is taken off, the germ is taken off. So this is why I like to consider rice and beans first, because it's a complete amino acid profile and it's so versatile. You can put it in a variety of dishes. I'm also from the South, so we eat a lot of things like rice and gravy, hence why you see the gravy packets put in there. That way people that may not be apt to eating the same thing over and over again can at least have some different kind of flavor every once in a while with a gravy. Now I know I can make gravy from scratch. It's not very difficult. I have the flour. All you need is a fat and some flour, but the fact of the matter is, you might not always be cooking a meat dish, and you might not always be having the source of fats. So if you can stash away something like a gravy packet, congratulations, it's going to make things a little bit easier for you. As for the rice, the reason why I chose that is very simple. I like basmati rice, all right? I like jasmine rice. I like other kinds of rice besides just standard long grain rice. So if you want to buy long grain rice, congratulations, you just saved yourself 10 bucks. I think it was like $11 at the store versus the 20 that I spent, or 21. That I spent on the bag of rice that you currently saw in the video earlier. But it's just one of those things where I like to switch things up a lot, okay? I don't like eating the same thing over and over again. I don't think a lot of people do. And I know for a fact my family prefers eating a certain style. So if I can give you any piece of advice, it's going to be stash away food that you are more likely to eat. Now, as for the beans, you can replace it with whatever kind of beans you personally enjoy. Black beans, pinto beans, great northern beans, black-eyed peas, lima beans, it really does not matter. Beans have a very good shelf life in general. The reason why I use the beans that I did is because, again, they are very versatile and I can use them in several types of dishes. I'm not really shoehorning myself into one different style. One question I get all the time is, how long do I expect these buckets to last? And is there anything I can do to make them last longer? These last, the way I built them, about 10 years. And yes, I have actually eaten these things at about 8, 9, 10 years. So I perfectly know that yes, they work exactly as I advertised them. No questions asked. If you want them to last longer than 10 years without a lot of degradation of the nutrients, you're going to want to use things like Mylar. Mylar helps keep it a lot fresher because you're going to put an oxygen absorber in there. Oxygen obviously breaks down food. But after that 10-year span, you're losing a lot of nutrients anyway. So if you have the opportunity to rotate, that's why you build this stuff to rotate, then you won't be hitting that spot. The last thing you want to do is be in a situation where you absolutely need this stuff and you're stuck eating 10, 15, 20-year-old food. If you rotate it enough anyway, then you're eating fresh food regardless of the situation. Now, speaking of time, I had to make sure I wrote these down. One 20-pound bag of white rice is going to give you about 33,000 calories. 1 pound of dry beans is about 1,440 calories, so those 4-pound bag that I showed you is giving you about 5,700 calories, meaning altogether you're looking at right around 39,000 calories. Now, for one person, if you are eating a ration diet of 1,500 calories per day, you're going to make it about 26 days, all right? A family of 2, you have a spouse or whatever, a partner, then it's going to give you 13 days. If you have a family of 3, you're looking at about 8.5 days of food. So in a standard 2-adult family, maybe 1 child child like me, you're looking at about 10 days worth of food for every bucket you have. So yes, it's not a lot in terms of the grand scheme of things, but it's a good way to make sure that you are supplementing your diet in any case of emergency. Now, if we have to live in a situation where we can't get to the store, and definitely we got to make sure we're living on our food that we have growing from the garden or hunting or foraging or whatever, you are going to be thanking everyone that you can that you had buckets like these, because you have a backup. If your crops fail, if you can't hunt anything because the weather's bad or you miss or something like that, you have food at home in case of not having anything. That's the entire purpose of this. Now, a few more things that I want to make sure that I cover before I end the video is the fact that you have to pay attention to how you store this stuff. You're going to get 10 years out of it pretty well if you keep it in a climate controlled area. So if you can put it into a bedroom, a spare bedroom, closet, where you're not really going to disturb it and it's not going to get crazy fluctuations in temperature, awesome, even better. Don't put this in, say, like a garage or an outbuilding unless you have to, because that constant temperature fluctuation is going to result in a lesser than ideal storage time. Okay, so you're going to, whenever you do that, you can do that, but when you do that, you're basically just chopping off years on the length of that storage. So just keep that part in mind. Also, if you live in a climate like I do here in the Southeast, it's very humid, okay? I'm not saying just the Southeast is humid, I'm saying everywhere can be humid, but if you live in a humid climate, it might be a good idea to put a few, desiccant packs, moisture absorbers inside that bucket to make sure there's no moisture in there when you seal it off, okay? Keeping that moisture off of your food is only going to result in longer food storage and less nutrition being lost via having the potential having moisture in there. So if you can absorb some of that moisture in the bucket, that's going to be even better. So before I close this off and actually run it up to the bedroom and put it in the closet, I'm going to put 1 or 2 desiccant packs in there. If you're trying to find a place to find desiccant packs, you can buy them online, or you can just, look in your shoes whenever you buy shoes or whatever and get those little desiccant packs and just toss them in there when you can too. All right, so let's wrap up this video on a quick recap. This bucket, it gives you about 39,000 calories. It's going to give you the option of feeding your family between 10 days and 26 days, depending on how big your family is. The more people you have in your family, the more buckets you're obviously going to have to stash. But this is one of those things that's going to give you, again, that grace period, but so you can try to figure out what exactly you're doing if you absolutely have to. So that is why I did the video. You want to make sure that you are paying attention to prices. If you can pick things up from the grocery store on sale, if you're just paying attention to, I want to build food buckets in the future at some point, and you happen to go to a grocery store that gives buy one, get one deals, congratulations. You can almost make 2 buckets for the price of 1. Sale shop, maybe you can find something on clearance, something that maybe have like a damaged packaging, whatever. You can shop frugal however you want to, but being able to do so is going to help you stash things away at a cheaper price than what I initially paid. The reason why I used the prices that I did, I will list the prices right here. The reason why I listed the prices that I did is because that is the full retail that I paid without having to go sale shopping. So anything you can get below these is only going to be better for you. I hope you learned something from this video, because it's one of those things that a lot of people, when they want to get into the preparedness community or they want to get into the self-reliance community, one of the first things they ask is, how do I store food long term? So this would be one of the first videos or one of the first things that you start doing to help insulate yourself against food insecurity. That's the whole purpose of making this video. That's why if you are new, even seasoned, knowing information like this and be able to push it to people who may have that question, hey, I'm thinking about getting more prepared, what do I need to do first? That's the idea of this video. Hopefully it's going to be able to push it to people that are newer, give them the answer to that question, get them excited about doing it because they're doing something that's easy that everybody can do, and they can get to get going in the right direction. That's the whole purpose. So if you learned anything at all, please do me a humongous favor and give this video a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. Share the video with somebody who you think might appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you are not, and I will catch y'all later.